Hi everyone, my name's Ananya and today I'm going to be showing you how to make this Coke bottle. So when my mom saw this Coke bottle, she was like, when I made this Coke bottle not too long ago, and like when my mom saw it, she said, okay, I'll pay you €25 if you will make a video on how to make this Coke bottle. So I'm here to make it. So this is the bottle we are gonna make, and yeah. So let's begin. First, let me just move this thing aside. File, New, General. Okay, so first we need an image of the Coke bottle we're gonna try to copy. I'm just gonna add a random image of a Coke bottle I found online. So yeah, you might want to actually rotate and then rotate x-axis 90 so that you could get a proper view of the object. So you can delete the cube, that's no use whatsoever for us. We just need a circle. And we want to give this a grid fill, so you would go to face and a grid fill. So yeah, like that you can add a grid fill and go to front view again. Just select the outer edge, you don't want the whole thing. So you just select the whole edge around. And then you just extrude it up and just follow along the contours of the Coke bottle. So you don't have to worry about the grooves just yet. We're going to do those later on. Okay, so this is your basic model of the Coke bottle. It's very basic at the moment, but if you go Control 2, you can see that it is giving some face. So now if you select this edge, and if you, before you select that, you need to go Control R, add 2 edge loops over here, one here and one here. I'll tell you why in a minute. So now you select, so you just select one of them. You select the edge loop that's on the top, and then you go select, check or deselect, and for the check or deselect, you select deselected 3, selected 1, and just select this one as well, because this is actually deselecting 4, because it is the number of vertices in the circle is a different amount, then it's not divisible by 4, so you just need to select this one and you'll just, So now you have this, and now you can just go to the front view and scale them in however much you'd like. However much you'd like the grooves to go. Now the reason I told you to make this edge loop, because let's say I was just to hide it for a second. So we really can't just hide it. But if I was to like just let me slide it down, this would what would happen if you were to do this without the edge loop. It would actually make a marking for the whole thing, but since we have the edge loop here, it will not make a marking. It'll just stop at the marking here, as you can see. And now you just do the same for this side. Select this. Yep, same thing, and just select this. Scale it on in. Actually quite simple to do that. Now once you've gotten this far, you can, like, we've gotten the groove down and the basic shape as well. All that is left is the bottom part here. So what we do is select from here to here, and select from here to here, and you just bring those upwards. So, yeah. You just bring them right on up. And this way you've got the roofs and markings here. So yeah, now you've got the groove, you've got the bottom part here, and you've got the basic shape of the thing now. All that's left mainly is, so now let's just give this a subdivision surface. Actually, we might give, we might add this up, like the modifiers in a sec. First, let's take this and let's extrude it and then scale it on the Shift Z axis. And just scale it in a little bit. Just scale that in a bit. So now we've got more of a shape over here that's more of a proper shape that like it should be, but actually extruding it. Or you can just easily scale that in if that's any better. So you can just try and not try. You want to get this sort of flat area, and then you want it to kind of look like it's bumping out instead of it going inwards. You want it to look like this is coming outwards. So you would need to scale this in, this part inwards. Now we've got the basic Coke shape. Now let's just move this way. As you can see, they have quite a similar shape, which is exactly what we wanted. Now we might need to refine a few places, like over here, this should be much sharper. So let's just add an edge loop here and an edge loop here. That just fixes up the shape like it is over here. And this edge loop, you can grab it upwards just a little and scale it in just a tiny bit to add a bit more of a curve over here. Now, you've gotten the basic Coca-Cola bottle shape. Now what we need, all that's left really is the lid, the text, and the Coke itself. So for the Coke, all we're going to do, we're just going to copy this whole part down here. It's easier than remodeling it itself. You just grab what we did earlier and duplicate it. Select, just make it a different object and scale it down a bit. Move it upwards, whatever it. We can get out of this mode here. I'm just going to move this aside again. Yeah, so we've got the basic Coke shape down. You just need to duplicate what was there a second ago. Like, you just need to duplicate the bottom part of this and just for now change its color to brown or something. Just change its color to brown. We'll come to the colors later on. But if you go to the very bottom, you can go to viewport display and change the color to a brown color. Can't really control much in the viewport display, but yeah, we'll get to that later. Yeah, there's our Coke over here. And now for the bottle itself, let's give the bottle a thickness modifier. Add a modifier and just give it a solidify modifier. And change the thickness to however thick you think it should be. But I think 0.2 is good enough. And actually even 0.1 would be good. But 0.02 is good enough for now as the thickness. And for the Coke itself, I forgot, you want to go to the selection. Select the top rim of the Coke over here and go to face and press grid fill, just like we did with the bottom of the other one. Just so that it's got a bit of a fill to it, and now you can kind of see it from the top as well, if you look. I might actually make it a bit bigger. Let me see it, but it doesn't really matter. So yeah, this way you've got the Coke and you've got the bottle itself. Now for the Coke, just set it to the size you think is about right. Set it to however big. Yeah. And yeah, now you've got your basic Coke bottle. Now we just want the text and the lid. We'll do the lid in a minute. First, let's start with the text. So for the text, the only way to get to this is either with a texture, which you would put on the bottle, or you can add a text. Coca dash. Oh, don't forget the captions. So yeah, we've got the Coca-Cola, and this is actually quite a lot different from this because Coca-Cola has its own custom font, and that's quite hard to actually find on the internet, but if you actually look, you can find it. And yeah, so I've got the font. I have a font here, the Coca-Cola font, and as you see, that looks quite similar to the form. Okay, I think this is capital. I'm just going to give this the exact same font. Anyway, so we've got the Coca-Cola font. So now we just rotate this 90 degrees, put that over here. And now the easiest way to do this is a basic shrink wrap modifier. So if you go to the modifier section, you can see in the deform section there is shrink wrap. So if you go to shrink wrap, add the this to that. And from wrap, in the wrap, change it from near surface point to project. And now if you just bring this all the way that way, like that, you can also, and then you just scale it so that you've got a different size, whatever size you want the Coca-Cola thing to be. So as you see, you can just change it up however you'd like. And yeah, so you might want to change the offset if you want, but that doesn't really make a difference that much. And actually, for the origin, you can change it. This way is the this way. Now you can move it wherever you'd like. You can just get the shape right, and yeah. You can keep making a few changes to it wherever you think it could be changed. And yeah, but then you're going to have to apply the modifier. But you cannot apply the modifier if it's still a text. So let me move this here. And you have to go to Object, Convert, and convert it to a mesh. Now you can just move it. Then it automatically applies all the modifiers when you convert it to a mesh. Now you just move this on the y-axis just a little bit and scale it on the x-axis just a teensy bit, just to give it a little bit more of a difference from the. You can just sort of move it a little bit away from that. Then you will not be getting the. Then it will not be overlapping with the Coke bottle. And you can actually do it even better in edit mode. Yeah, so yeah, you can just change up a few things like this. Just set it to the right, everything, make it sure it's not overlapping. And now we've got the basic Coca-Cola bottle and the label and everything down. All that's really left is the cap. So let's get on to that. So the cap's actually quite easy. You just select this, duplicate it on the z-axis, P-selection, and now go to that. Select everything, grab it down, and scale it a bit, extrude it upwards, scale it down, extrude it again upwards, and this time you can just go M at center for it to merge. And now you just go 1 to select this one vertex and bring that down a bit. So now you've got the basic shape of the cap, but you still need the grooves that are in it. So to make those grooves, that's quite simple. You just go I for insets. So let's set it to not that much. Set it to individual over here in the panel, and then just scale it inwards. Now that just gives a basic shape here. You can add a actually for the top, if you delete that one and select this full rim and give it a face, and then go word fill, and actually you can delete this edge loops, and just use the press O for proportional editing, press G and Z, just to get a bit of a curve to it, and that's really it to make the cap. And you can use Control to select, so just select this loop, and you can bring that down and press whatever you want. Oh, you can sort of bring things down and up like that. Move things around until you're happy. And yeah, you've got yourself a basic cook bottle. So now let's just move on to the colors. So if we go to, yeah, so first of all, if we want a glass shader, it needs to be in cycles. So if you want it in cycles, you'll have to actually, for cycles, you'll have to change it, the render to cycles, and we're gonna have to go into shading mode so that you can then we need the glass node. When we need the glass, we need transparent, and we need the mix shader. Okay, so first we need to connect the mix shader to the surface value of the output node. Then we'll just connect the glass to number 1 and that to number 2. And now just change the factor. Also, you can change the color to complete white on both of them. This one does it great. And let's put this on C. Let's take off scene mode so that we can have this background here, so that you can see that it's actually you can see that it's actually going through and it's not actually looking gray. Okay, so yeah, we might want to increase roughness just a little bit. So this is what just the glass one would look like, and this is what just the transparent one would look like. So just the transparent is like invisible, as if nothing was there. So like you can use that in a lot of things, like you can have some sheet with that texture or whatever, and you know, I don't know. Or whatever. You can do things like that, but we don't really want this to be completely invisible. We want it to be like glass. So we wouldn't use just the transparent, and we wouldn't use just the glass. because that just has some effects in the distortion. Like if roughness was to be 0, it actually has a bit of a distortion effect. So it's better somewhere just very close to the glass one, but a bit more translucent or transparent. Yeah, so let's put this to off so that you only see this. Yeah, let's actually go to the properties and put the denoise in the viewport and set this to 1000 because, wait, actually 1024, which is the max sample value over here. And so if you can see here, if over here you can see what sample it's at. And in the new 3.0 version, it actually only does it until it thinks it needs to be done. And then it just fast forwards ahead to the rest and goes all the way to the end. So this is what it would look like. This looks a lot like it has milk inside it right now, but that's only because the liquid inside is white. So if I go to the circle number 1 here, and just change the base color to a brown color, very dark brown though, because it is actually quite dark. Now, this actually is not at all transparent, but that is actually has a bit of transparency. So you just need to add the transmission a bit. Maybe 0.5. This way it's like half translucent, half not. That would sort of give the effect you need. And you want it to be a bit lighter. Actually, I think I made that a bit too dark. So let's just wait for it to load for a second so that we can have an idea on how it is looking. So that looks a lot like milk. I think it's too rough. It needs to be much less rough. And the specular needs to be at 0.2. Sheen and sheen 2. And the clear flow is 0, but it's just the clear flow reference 0. And even the surface IOR can be set down to 0. So really the only thing, all of the values should be 0, except for IOR, which should be 1.545. The exact value it was at first, you just don't need to change that. And the transmission should be at 0.5. So first load. Yeah. Still a bit too light. So, it's a lot of fiddling when it comes to colors. But you just need to make it a really, really dark brown. And yeah, there's a little bit of a reddish tint to it. So yeah, you can kind of find the right balance for the coat. Okay, the glass is a bit too close to the glass. It's giving a bit too much distortion. Yeah, now that's better. So that was just giving some distortion earlier. So I'm actually turn the scene lights off. And I'll change this to a different HDRI. As you can see, the Coke is actually still translucent, so like in this case, it will be brighter than if it is with a different HDRI where it is darker. Like where it has a different, where there's less light, so it is not much good to go through. Like it's transparent and it is a brown color, so it will actually change depending on the lighting. So yeah, you can decide the perfect lighting. You decide either you can import your own HDRI and set that as whatever. I just have some. I'm just putting some random HDRI. I'll actually put the one that this one, as it's one of the best ones. Quick light. Okay. So yeah, you can get so the Coke color is set. Now the only thing that's left to color now is really the lid. So let's give that a color. And let's make this a red color. If you like to make that fully red, like saturated red. And the value can be a little lower actually, because it needs to be a bit dark. And you want the metallic to be like 0.09. Give it a bit of metallicity. Specular down up to 1 and the roughness to 0.2. So you still want a bit of roughness. You just don't want to overpower it. Yeah, there you have it, your Coke. I'm just going to show you how to add a simple backdrop and some lighting. And also I'll show you where to move it. So you will press Shift and the little squiggly icon thing. The one right next to the number 1 below the escape and above the tab. Yeah, you would press that to go. You would press Shift and whatever that was called again. I have to remember the names of those things. Yeah, so you would do that and then you would go to the proportions, just change this to be like, this one needs to be the same at the bottom, so 0, 0. And then just bring that forward. You can do GZZ. Zoom that in or out by pressing G and then Z twice. And then you find some real lines here. Find the right camera setup. And now for the lighting, I'm just going to do a simple 3-point lighting. And I might use actually an emission phone for this. Get more of the, what is it? Set that to emission. Just so that it's enough light. Y-axis 180. Scale it down much smaller. And give it a certain amount of light. So just sort of set up the lighting however you think it would be best. But just set up like the strength of it to be whatever you want. You can change the strength quite easily. Just here and yeah. And like you can also add sunlight. And just add a plane. Change it to a pencil. Just delete this one. So yeah, basically you can set up the lighting however you desire. I might actually just add it in. I'll delete them. So you can kind of roll it into the things like that. And you can wait for the yeah, so that's really mainly it. Yeah, that's it. So yeah. See you next time. Bye.